Alright, this is John Cole with OKRaw.com. So we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, hopefully it's going to be a short one, I'm going to show you guys the best way to make coconut milk fresh. I only encourage you guys to make coconut milk fresh. I do not encourage you guys to use like coconut shreds or flakes to make your coconut milk. Guys, it just does not turn out the same. The fat is concentrated. You don't get all the rich goodness out of the fibers when you are soaking your coconut shreds in water. I encourage you guys to make coconut milk out of real coconuts. So get rid of those shreds that also may have sulfides or other additives to it, even though it claims it doesn't, because I've had reactions in my skin to, 100% coconut flakes. Anyways, so I only trust real coconuts. So today I'm using the white coconut. You may be able to find these at a local Asian market or Hispanic market near you. I like the white ones because they're not as mature as the brown ones, so the fat content will be a little bit lower. Also, I find that these are a lot sweeter. These are from Mexico. Of course, if you can't find the white ones, you can use the brown ones, and one tip for picking out coconuts is shake them. And when you shake them, you want to hear as much water as possible sloshing around. If you don't hear any water, that means it could be dried out and it's going to be bad inside. So you want to hear as much water as you can sloshing around. Pick them all up. Pick all the ones up in the display and pick the right ones. That's what I've done here. All right. So the first step is we're going to go ahead and first open the coconut. I have a little fillet knife here, and I get into the hole. There's 3 eyes on the top of the coconut. 2 have eyebrows and 1 doesn't. So we're going to go ahead and find the one that doesn't have the eyebrow and stick my fillet knife in here, and I'm going to carve out a nice large hole going around. Next step is dump it in, and we're going to go ahead and put this through the filter to let any grit get caught in there, and then we'll have our pure coconut water. So once all the water's drained out, you're going to go ahead and move the water out of the way, and now we're going to go ahead and take a knife. I like to use the blade, the sharp side. You can use the dull side as well, and we're going to basically tap around the equator of the nut. This will get it into 2 even pieces. The next step is you'll need a coconut demeating tool. There are many. I bought all the coconut demeating tools on Amazon, and I'll be testing them soon in an upcoming video, so make sure you click that subscribe button right down below and click the bell so you get notified as my new videos come out, so you don't miss out on testing all the coconut tools. Anyways, you just shove this in between the meat and the shell and get it out. So I'm going to do that real quick style for you. Alright, so once you got all the coconut meat out, this next step is an optional step. You can go ahead and now take the coconut, and if you're really into it, you can take a knife and you could basically shave off all the outside coloring so you just have the white meat alone. So you make the best looking coconut milk, although if you want the most nutrients, keep this funky stuff on. So I've peeled my coconuts so they're nice and white, because all this will actually get turned into an ice cream I'm making. Next step is you want to just cut this into a little bit smaller pieces so that the blender will be more effective at blending it up. Once all the pieces are cut up, the next step is to put them in a blender. Now here's the thing, guys. If you want to make the best coconut milk, you don't use a traditional blender like a Vitamix or even a Blendtec high power blender, or even just your home Oster blender. You want to get a vacuum blender. I don't care what brand vacuum blender you guys get, but you want to get a vacuum blender to do this task. It makes a huge difference. Now that all the coconut meat is in the blender, now we want to add about 32 ounces of coconut water. I add about 32 ounces of coconut water to 1 meat to have a nice coconut milk. Now the next step is the difference between traditional blending and vacuum blending. We're going to go ahead and put this lid on, and now we're going to take a vacuum pump and suck all the excess oxygen out of the carafe, including some dissolved oxygen that may be in the coconut water. So this pump is pumping out the air. Now the reason why vacuum blending is important is because now there will be less dissolved oxygen during your blending process, and significantly reduced oxygen you'll be pumping into the mixture as you're grinding up the coconut. This means that your fats will not go rancid as quickly, and more importantly, as shown in scientific studies, vacuum blended mixtures will retain higher levels of antioxidant compounds than non-traditional vacuum blended mixtures over time. Once the air is sucked out of the carafe, and if you're interested in getting this blender, it's actually called the DynaPro, and it's the best vacuum blender we sell at discountjuicers.com. Links down below to the full video on the vacuum blender. Next step is we're gonna go ahead and blend it on high for, I don't know, about a minute. Alright, so as soon as the blender's done, now you can do the next step. The next step is you're going to go ahead and release the vacuum. So we're going to lift off this little tab and listen carefully. All the air rushes back in because we've done this under vacuum, so we're going to have a higher quality, better tasting coconut milk. Now the next step is we need to strain out the coconut fiber, the insoluble fiber, and just get the milk alone. So to do that, we will need a nut milk bag, and there's many different nut milk bags on the market. One of the best selling ones is actually the Ellies nut milk bag, but actually I don't recommend the Ellies nut milk bag, as you'll learn in a second. I recommend Alexa's nut milk bag. Alexa's nut milk bag kicks butt over Ellies bag. So let's go ahead and show you guys a comparison. Alright, so here is Alexa's bag, the best-selling bag on Amazon. And look how small that is, right? And look how big Alexa's bag is. It's significantly larger than Ellie's bag. Another thing you'll notice is that this has a string channel on it, so this has a drawstring that you can basically pull. And then this is an harborage area where pulp and junk could get stuck in there, and you're basically never going to get it out. Also, the string kind of gets gross and nasty over time. I like that this is oversized, and the thing is that these corners are kind of more sharp. You know, they're not totally square, but they're not rounded so nicely. These have really nice rounded corners, and is a lot easier to work with a larger nut milk bag. And you can see on the top, there's no string channel to get clogged up, and this is electrosonically welded in the United States. So I like that a lot, and this is a nice fine mesh that is very easy to clean. I literally just spray this out on high pressure with either the kitchen sink or the garden hose out back, and it cleans right up without any scrubbing. Now the other thing I like is that, you know, because the Alexa's bag is oversized, it easily fits in a 2-quart Anchor Hawking measuring glass cup. Can you fit Ellie's bag over this? I mean, you're stretching it and it doesn't quite fit. So, I mean, this one is just too small for me. So Alexa's bag easily will go in here, and you could just put it over the top so you could easily pour your mixture in there. You guys want to get one of Alexa's bags, visit them at alexasbags.com. Next step is we're going to go ahead and pour this mixture into our bag right here. And I'll always like to use a spatula to get every last bit of goodness out. Next step is to simply squeeze out the bag. Super simple and super easy when you have this nice oversized bag to deal with. You can see a lot of the milk is already dripped out. Alright, I think we wrung that out good enough, and I want to show you guys actually what's left in Alexa's bag here. Literally what we have now is completely dry. This is totally insane. This is like if you dehydrated this. Doesn't taste good. It's like you're eating fiber, and actually what it is, you could put this in a dehydrator or even in your oven at a low temperature to dry it and get the moisture out. And then you could use it as coconut flour and add it to your recipes for better fiber. And now look at this stuff. We got delicious homemade coconut milk. Nothing is better than this. This is my favorite. I prefer coconut milk over nut milk. No soaking is required. Also, compared to almond milk, this has a much better balance of omega-3 to 6s. And we made enough for a quart, and then of course we have some extra that I'm going to sample out for you guys right now. Look at that. Nice white pure coconut milk made in a vacuum blender. Reduces the oxidation and rancidity and tastes great. Man, that is so good. Wow. Now the last thing I want to show you guys, actually very important, is when you make coconut milk, normally it only lasts a couple days in the fridge because we didn't add preservatives, we didn't add nothing to this. But what we did do is we vacuum blended it so we're not oxidizing the fats so that it won't go rancid as quickly during storage. That being said, you can take storage to the next level when you get the DynaPro, because you have a vacuum pump that now you can convert a mason jar lid with some electrical tape. Link down below to that video where I show that. You could put that on your jar, and then suck a vacuum on your jar to remove the excess oxygen out of the headspace, as well as some of the excess oxygen out of the milk. When you do that, that'll suck the lid down, and look at that, the lid's sucked in there. We have a vacuum on this, and this will easily store 5 days in the fridge. Of course, you could also use this to make ice creams, yogurts, and other things. This is gonna get turned into ice cream in my kitchen. So there you have it. You learned how to make the best coconut milk using a vacuum blender and vacuum storing it for longer storability using a fresh coconut instead of those shreds. And you learned about the best nut milk bag in this episode. So many things you learned in a short amount of time. If you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to like this video. That helps out the YouTube algorithm to get this video out to more people so that they can learn about how to best make coconut milk. Also, be sure to share this video with others so that they could learn how to make the best coconut milk on different social media outlets and different websites and Facebook groups. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss out on my new and upcoming episodes that come out every 5 to 7 days. You never know where I'll show up or what you'll be learning on my YouTube channel. And make sure you click the bell so you get notified as many videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 600 episodes on this channel teach you guys all about the power of eating and how to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, including my favorite, the coconuts. So with that, my name is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. We'll see you next time. Until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.